Hey guys, Vegaslike here. Now, Jesus Christ. Ugh, no Slate Cup today, sorry. But I wanted to talk about what fascism is and how it works. Now, this, of course, doesn't entail everything about fascism, but I decided to share a video with you guys because I would say it's a pretty good indication of what a bad case of fascism is. And the reason why is because I think that a lot of people forget what actual fascism really is. And it's kind of starting to show an increase in a problem, at least nowadays. I mean, just Jesus, look at our previous president who was obviously a fucking fascist, but of course people tended to act like he wasn't. But here we go. So I'm going to start the video here. Now you guys can watch the video with me, or you can watch it afterwards of this video, or just not watch my video and just watch the video anyway, I guess. But here we go. I'll check. Yeah, my volume's down. Oh, seriously? Here. I'll turn it down for just a second. Jesus. All right.
In the face of supposed humiliation by immigrants, leftists, liberals, minorities, homosexuals, women, in the face of what the fascist leader says is a takeover of the country's media, cultural institutions, schools by these forces. And that's why you need a really macho, powerful, violent response. The fascist leader says he will solve the problem. Fascism is right-wing by nature. It's based on ultranationalism. However, you can have ultranationalist movements that are ultranationalist movements of minority groups. There is left-wing authoritarianism. There are bad things on the left. Stalin killed many, many people. Mao killed many, many people. These are terrible figures, but not all terrible things are fascist. Fascism is a very particular ideological structure. When thinking about fascism, you can't think about these individual elements in isolation. They come as a bundle. My name is Jason Stanley. I'm the Jacob Urowski Professor of Philosophy at Yale University and the author of 5 books, most recently, How Fascism Works, The Politics of Us and Them. We forget that many fascist regimes started off as democratic political parties. We forget that Hitler, the Nazi Party, ran in an election. Fascist parties start as fascist social and political movements before they come to power. So it's important to see that these tactics occur even in societies that do not have a fascist regime. All nationalism involves a mythic past. So you can say, look, we're Polish people, people who spoke Polish and were sheep herders, and another bunch of Polish people who were fishermen, and could talk about how things were wonderful when we were all Polish together. That's a fine mythic past. But then there's the fascist mythic past. In the past, we were great. Wherein did our greatness consist? In our military. And in the past, the dominant racial group ruled over others. And then the fascist leader says, that has been taken from you by the leftists and communists. They want to weaken our military. They want to weaken our greatness.
That's basically what Trump said.
Propaganda is ubiquitous, and everyone uses propaganda. In political propaganda, your main message is something other than the information you're conveying. Fascist propaganda is a very particular structure. It's based around a friend-enemy distinction. The political opponent, they are a merciless threat to your very existence and your traditions. They are the other. When they are in charge, it subverts the nation. So the structure, fascist propaganda, is based on the idea that the other are fundamentally opposed to the nation. As Hitler says in Mein Kampf, science is only useful insofar as it strengthens the nation. Fascism is a cult of the leader. It involves the leader setting the rules about what's true and false. So any kind of expertise, reality, All of that is a challenge to the authority of the leader. If science would help him, then he can say, okay, I'll use it. Institutions that teach multiple perspectives on history in all its complexity are always a threat to the fascist leader. The center of democracy is truth. You're not free if you've been lied to. Nobody thinks the people of North Korea are free. The people of North Korea will vote for dear leader every time because they've been lied to. It's not a free vote because they don't have access to the truth. Equality similarly requires truth, because equality in democracy doesn't mean we all have the same amount of money. It doesn't mean we all have the same car. It means political equality, that each of our voices matters the same. And political equality means speaking truth to power. If someone really powerful is humiliated when they're caught lying, that's the core of political equality. If you're going to rip the heart out of democracy, you get people used to lies. Here's a fact about humans. We all pretty much suck to the...
Now, this is kind of what I've stated on my channel before, guys, about how sometimes these guys would come to my channel and how I would sometimes try to speak up to the people saying something that I don't think is true on my channel, and how they would even try to say shit like I have to respect their opinion. And don't get me wrong, I do have to respect their opinion, but you see, they also have to politically respect my opinion as well when I try to call them out. And this is why this is becoming more and more of an issue actually in our country, is because I don't think that even a lot of people realize what freedom of speech is sometimes anymore. I mean, you might have their freedom of speech, but so does everybody else. And when you try to take that away from them, you automatically take that away from yourself. And then it just becomes something like this, so to speak. So in other words, you're actually being a bit of a fascist if you talk to me like that. And, you could try to post your opinion and say, oh, I'm not. But there are just some things where I'm just like, yeah, that's actually kind of a fascist thing to say. But moving on from that.
Same degree. One group of us is not better than another group of us. Hierarchy is central here because it's the big lie at the center of things. What is racism but one big lie? Racism is the lie that one group is better than another. You're told this religion is better, this race is better, this gender is better. It's really a moral claim, has more moral worth. And then once you have hierarchy set up, you can make people very nervous and frightened about losing their position on that hierarchy. Hierarchy goes right into victimhood, because once you convince people that they are justifiably higher on the hierarchy, then you can tell them that they're victims of equality. German Christian.
Now, this is one of the biggest reasons why I don't have any respect for the incel community, is because this is actually their tactic. And I've even talked about this on my channel. But, of course, some people just say, oh, I just don't have any good morals. Well, you can keep on saying that, but in reality, you aren't victims.
Are victims of Jews. White Americans are victims of Black American equality. Men are victims of feminism. Once you convince people that they should be better, that they have earned a position on the hierarchy over others, then you can tell them that equality is actually victim.
Yep. Another commercial here. 1 sec. All right.
Loyalty to the dominant group means law-abidingness. Yep. And the minority group is by its nature not law-abiding. Law and order in fascist politics means the members of the minority group who accept their subservient role, they're law-abiding, and the members of the dominant group, by their very nature, are law-abiding. By definition, the leader can't violate law and order. So law and order doesn't mean justice. Law and order doesn't mean equality. Law and order structures who's legitimate and who's not. everywhere around the world, no matter what the situation is, in very different socioeconomic conditions, the fascist leader comes and tells you, your women and children are under threat. You need a strong man to protect your families. They make conservatives hysterically afraid of transgender rights or homosexuality, other ways of living. These are not people trying to live their own lives. They're trying to destroy your life, and they're coming after your children. What the fascist politician does is they take conservatives who aren't fascist at all, and they say, look, I know you might not like my ways. You might think I'm a womanizer. You might think I'm violent in my rhetoric. But you need someone like me now. You need someone like me because homosexuality, it isn't just trying for equality. It's coming after your family. Fascist movements typically, though not invariably, rest on an urban-rural divide. The cities are where there's decadence, where the elites congregate, where there's immigrants, there's criminality, there's Sodom and Gomorrah. In the city, there's not real work. The pure, hardworking, real members of the nation live in the rural areas where they work hard with their hands. When our politicians talk about inner city voters or urban voters, we all know what they mean. Arbeit macht frei, work shall make you free. This was written on the gates of Auschwitz. The idea is that the minority group, they're lazy and they need to be made to work. Free labor. The minority group and the leftists, they're lazy by their nature, and it gives them a work ethic. Labor unions are run by communists who are trying to make things easier. Hard work is a virtue. In liberal democracy, we don't value people by how hard they work. What would happen to disabled people who can't work? They would then have no value. It's why the Nazis had the T4 program to murder the disabled, because the disabled were lebensunwertiges Leben, life unworthy of life, because to be valued was to be capable of hard work. Each of these individual elements is not in and of itself fascist, but you have to worry when they're all grouped together. When honest conservatives are lured into fascism by people who tell them, look, it's an existential fight. I know you don't accept everything we do, you don't accept every doctrine, but your family is under threat. Your family is at risk. So without us, you're in peril. Those moments are the times when we need to worry about fascism.
Get smarter faster with new videos
Alright.
every week from the world's biggest.
So that's pretty much the end of the video. Now, of course, if you guys want to talk about this more so with me or with anybody else, you can go ahead and do that. But I mainly had this video just to kind of recommend this because it's like I said, there's a lot of shit that I have been seeing that I just don't really agree with in the past, especially the past couple years. And I just wanted to show that to you guys because if this really does go out of control, it could actually be even worse than it was even at the time when Hitler was around. It could be actually even worse than that at a time period like this. It's because socially, just stuff like that isn't acceptable. And even at the time, it actually could have ruined Germany. And at the very least, it has actually made Germany look bad even to this day from other countries. They will actually keep on bringing it up, what Germany did in the past. That is how badly it affected Germany. And if we did this nowadays, it could actually probably just ruin this country. And it would not fix a damn thing, nor would it probably actually benefit anybody. That and the way that they tried killing the Jews at the time took tons of resources that they could have put towards the war during World War II, which only hurt them. And just the simple fact that they didn't even have to do it anyway. They didn't have to put all those Jewish people in those concentration camps and kill them. They didn't have to do that at all. That wasn't even the real issue at the time, which just made the whole process just one big waste of resources to just begin with. And it was just a really shitty thing to do. With, of course, that being said, I'll just end this video. And I hope that something like this, of course, doesn't happen again to that extent. Goodbye.